What's going on, everyone? So there is a proposed trade that is making its rounds. I recently saw it on Sports Illustrated of a Heat and Lakers trade. And the trade would be D'Angelo Russell along with Gabe Vincent for Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson. Now, the Heat side of things is that they believe that supposedly, again, this is just proposed trade. We don't know if there's even conversations or anything like that, but supposedly the Heat would believe that they could get Gabe Vincent to be back to the Gabe Vincent we saw previously, that they always liked Gabe Vincent, and that, if he can get back to that, that would be huge for them to just give him that defense point of attack. He's familiar with the system, right? Maybe kind of give him a lift, kind of fill in the Josh Richardson role, and then from the D'Angelo Russell side of things, get them a real playmaker, get them somebody that can kind of put things together, and then they believe that he can kind of elevate his game and kind of get back to what he was for the Lakers last season, because he'd be playing kind of the natural role that he is best at. So the Heat kind of get that. Also, they get off of salary and Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, because he does have another year beyond this year of salary, right? From the Lakers side of things, they get a legit 3-and-D guy in Josh Richardson, who he is having his struggles, not defensively. Him and Terry Rozier have actually both been very good defensively. Both of those guys are about a 114 defensive rating, which immediately makes them our third best defensive players on the roster. So that would be huge for the guard play. But offensively, they've really had their struggles this season. However, from the Lakers standpoint, right, Terry Rozier, he's historically been a good offensive weapon, right? He's a guy that could go get buckets. Even when he was available before Miami got him, the Lakers were interested in him, and he was a guy that made some sense for the Lakers, and it was like, okay, cool. He's a guy that come in, take some offensive pressure. Guy go give you 50 on any given night, right? I mean, literally, he's giving you 50, right? He was, at the time, before he went to Miami, he was averaging 23, 24 a game. So it was like, okay, you get some athleticism, get the point of attack, right? Get a guy that go shoot, play off ball, play on ball, do a little bit of everything, right? Kind of slot in and play that Austin Reeves role that we have right now, and I just think is better capable of doing so. And then you get a legit, 6'6", 3-and-D wing in Josh Richardson, who again is having a good defensive season, but has really struggled offensively. Now, thing is though, if I'm being honest, no, stay away from it, right? Personally, that's just my thoughts, and of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. But I just don't think the Lakers can take the chance on guys to maybe now figure it out. And Terry Rozier, I like Terry Rozier, but we have other needs. And yes, I would like to have that defensive guy, the defense that he's providing along with his potential of scoring. At that point, you might as well go get Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's better than Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson combined, right? And you're giving up you're just adding Rui, who, yes, he's giving you the exact same production throughout the board, right? And for all three, right? Gabe Vincent, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura. Zach LaVine by himself is giving Chicago the same production as all three of those guys are giving the Lakers right now, right? I'd rather just go do that, and then you still have all your first, and then you still could go make other moves, go get a Dorian Finney-Smith, go get a center. It could be Day'Ron Sharpe in the deal, or go get a Walker Kessler, or go do whatever. I just like that better. If this were to happen, I wouldn't hate it, right? I wouldn't be like, oh no, what are the Lakers doing? But I'd also prefer Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler, right? If you could go get that for D'Lo and Jalen Hood-Schifino, and then still keep Gabe Vincent. Not to keep him, I want to trade him, but now you have that $11 million salary to go trade him, right? It's just Terry Rozier is making $24 million and then $25 million next. He's not worth that, or he just hasn't been. Not since he went to Miami. He looked like it in Charlotte, but he was also on a bad team where he got to just take 20 attempts a game. Right? Real difference when you're on a good team, or what is supposed to be a good team in Miami, and then same thing with the Lakers. A good team or at least supposed to be a good team on the Lakers. Right? So if he's not giving you the production, D'Lo, at least he falls off the books. Right? So you're almost better off keeping the flexibility. LeBron can take whatever discount needed to go get other guys. I mean, Kyrie could be available in the offseason. Right? Again, I don't want to dive down into the Kyrie rabbit hole right now, but it's a potential possibility that I would rather have that over Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson. Right? again, both guys aren't having good, like if they were having good seasons, and it's just like Miami's just like, we really want that flexibility, right? Jimmy Butler may end up leaving, and we can clear off Terry Rozier, right? And just kind of ride the season out, get a D'Lo so his money falls off. Gabe Vincent, we'd only have one more year on, right? So he may be able to be moved in the offseason, right? If it was something like that, and it's like Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson are actually having not even like great years, just like good years, then I'd be like, okay, fine, let's go do it. Let's go make it happen. But they're not. And that's the problem. So getting into kind of the stats here a little bit. So Terry Rozier this season, again, he's making 24, almost 25 million, 24.9 million. He makes 26.6 next season, right? Like that's not great by any stretch of the imagination. He still is only 30, so that's good. He has been dealing with some injury issues, which is another thing to kind of consider and keep in mind. Like can he kind of maintain that? But look at this season so far through 12 games, 32 minutes per game. He is shooting a total of 38% from the floor on 11.8 attempts per game. He is shooting from three-point range 33.3% on 6 attempts. Now, he is a career 37% three-point shooter. Last season for Miami, he shot 37% on 5.7 attempts. So hopefully he can kind of get back to that if you were to pull off this deal. He's shooting 43% from two-point range on 5.8 attempts. Last season, he was 46%. He has an EFG of 46.5%. He's even down free throw-wise from last season at 88.5%, which is still good, but he was shooting 91.3% on the same attempts. He is averaging 4 rebounds, 4 assists, along with 13 points per game this season. With Miami last season, he averaged 16.4. If he could be a 16-4-4 guy, shoot, 38% from 3 and, 48% from the floor, from 2-point range, then fine. At that point, yeah, I think he's worth it, especially with, again, his defense, his point of attack, all of that, right? Like I said, he's a 114 defensive rating, so he's a guy that can get after it on the defensive side and really kind of help the Lakers in that regard. And then Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson is, again, a 114 defensive rating this season, so defensively, he would be great for the Lakers. But beyond just like the defensive side of things, he is cheap, right? He's making like $3 million this year, so you don't really have to worry about like the contract wise, where it's like, okay, well, what if he's making $40 million? Like, no, he's this season making $3,051,000, and then he's a free agent next season. So still in good shape there. If it works out with him, you could re-sign him to a new contract, and you're in good shape. He is 31 years old as well, which isn't a bad thing. Terry Rozier being 30, him being 31. They're still young enough, but they still are veterans, have been there, done that, have experience. Look, again, Josh Richardson was a guy that I liked when he was on the Spurs. I was like, hey, you should go trade for him. But again, you look at his production this year. Through 8 games, because he's missed a couple games, he is averaging 18.8 minutes, so basically 19 minutes a game. He is shooting 29% from the floor on 4.8 attempts, so only 5 attempts total, but still, right? Like he's shooting not even 30% from the floor. He's shooting 27.3% from three-point range on 2.8 attempts. Now, last season for Miami, he shot 34.7%, which isn't good, but with New Orleans, he shot 38.4%. So if he can get back to that, but again, you're taking the risk on can he get back to that, which I'm not a big fan of. He's shooting 31.3% from 2-point range on 2 attempts, has an EFG of 36.8%. He hasn't missed a free throw this season, but he's only averaging half attempts. He's averaging 1.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, and 4 points per game. So again, he's basically making a vet minimum, so it's like, like he's defensively gives you good defense, gives you some good versatility. You can play the 2, play the 3, but again, offensively, it's just you're hoping that these guys can get back to being 38%, but they're not like historically 38% guys, right? Like they've had seasons where they've done that, right? But like Terry Rozier is 36, 37%, which okay, if you can get back to that, give you the defense, point of attack, guy that go get you a bucket, right? Like, I just think that there's so many better options out there. I just think that there's so many better trades. I know some people might look at it and go, hey, but you get off of Gabe Vincent, right? Like, Josh Richardson, just even the defense is better than what, you're getting from Gabe Vincent. But, again, like, we need, like, I don't want to just make moves just to make moves. moves, right? I want to make moves that actually impact and improve the team and put the team in better position to potentially win a championship, right? Like, that's what I want to see from this team, right? I don't want to just go, oh, hey, yeah, Terry Rozier and Josh Richardson. Yeah, we got off of D'Lo. Like, D'Lo is our best trade asset. I know some people might not agree, but he is. Why? Because he's an $18.6 million expiring contract, and the new CBA has changed the landscape entirely. Every GM in the league has mentioned it at this point, right? So that is going to be worth gold once we get to the trade deadline, because you're going to get a bunch of teams that want to get off of guys, that want to retool, or teams that want to be bad, right? Like Chicago, for example, is a team that they want to take. They want to go get a better draft pick because this draft is really good, right? And other teams, the Nets, have opened up their entire roster because they want to get a better draft pick this year. If one of these guys can get a Cooper Flagg, or a Nolan Traore, or any of these guys, right? Like, that's what they want to do. And so if they can, kind of clear some spots and get off of guys and get expiring contracts and flexibility, that's going to be value. Or even a guy like Gabe Vincent could have some value to a team, because it's like, okay, he only has one more year at $11 million, but we have to pay this guy, $34 million. Like, say Portland, for example, with Jeremy Grant, right? And it's like, okay, well, Jeremy Grant, he's making $35+ million going forward for the next 3 seasons. Or we could take D'Lo, who's expiring, and then a Gabe Vincent, and now we're only on the hook for $11 million for 1 season, and we might be able to trade him next year because he'd be an expiring contract, right? Like, it's just teams stay the course, stay valuable. But this is something that's going around, making its rounds. Like I said, I saw it at Sports Illustrated, as well as a couple other platforms. So obviously, it's something. Again, it seems like it's just kind of like fan made. It's not like necessarily like a legit trade proposal, but it is something that I thought was worth exploring, and kind of want to hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.